Hey everyone, I am back on the road. Feels a little weird to be on the road, I'll be honest. We calculated it, and I have not been on the road since March 10th of this year. So this is my first time back out on the road. I've already had a couple meetings today. I'll talk about those back at the hotel here once I get there. I got one more meeting that I'm really trying to get to, and then it's onward to Omaha, Nebraska. So let's keep rolling. Well, I finally made it to my first hotel room. It's pretty wild, pretty weird being back out here. Actually made my first cup of hotel room coffee again, and I've definitely been spoiled during COVID because it tastes horrible. Usually I can, no big deal, whatever, bring it on, and definitely been spoiled while working from home. But it's all that's available, so I'll drink it. The main reason I want to make a video and kind of document getting back on the road is, number one, I just love making videos. Number two, it's something that I knew there'd be a lot of weird observations and things I just kind of wanted to document, because obviously none of us have gone through this in history. You know, I was talking to my dad the other day and he was like, I wish I could give you some advice, but this is the first time this is happening to me too. So it's just a weird time, weird time for sure. A couple of things I'd like to just kind of, if it's something I've learned is, if you travel for business, if you are getting back on the road and going to meet up with clients and stuff like that, one of the things I would highly recommend is making sure you're taking the time ahead of time to find out what customers are open, where they're kind of at, and that kind of thing, but also what their safety procedures are. So many companies are doing things differently. You know, not everybody's quite on the same page necessarily, so everybody's gonna have different requirements. A while back I made a video about how I have my own CRM program that it's for personal and professional. Keeps me organized, keeps tabs on everything, where I'm at with different customers, and one thing I'm now adding in there is their procedures to visit at this point. If you're on the phone with your customer and you're talking to them about a project or something like that, and you're starting to go down that trail of, hey, when are you gonna have visitors, and would you want me to come in, that kind of thing, make sure you start asking what those procedures are and then add them into your CRM. That way you can look it up and say, okay, I'm meeting with so-and-so at 1 o'clock and I have to do X, Y, and Z. This is their procedure. So it allows you to give yourself a little extra time. You also walk in knowing what to expect versus that awkward, like, okay, should I do this? Shouldn't I do that? It's something I found that helps. It takes the tension out of the air, and it really helped me today getting back out there for sure. One other quick thing is checking into a hotel. Anytime you are on the road a lot, you always get to the hotel and you see a smiling person, and it's almost like that welcoming, warm, like, I made it, I'm home. It was a long day, but I made it, and this is my temporary home. The process today was very, I guess you can call it sterile, very medical. You walk in, you're required to wear a mask in the lobbies and all the common areas. You walk in, you walk up to the desk, name, but there's no, like, because you have masks on, there's no smiling interactions or anything. Certain people can smile with their eyes, which is nice, but there was just kind of this weird, sterile, medical feel to it all, which I totally get and I understand why, but the thing I could see with that is how customer service and things like that, it's going to be extra hard to portray things, because sometimes just a smile can change somebody's attitude completely. I always made sure to smile at guests when I worked in the hotel business, because if they were coming at me up to that front desk and they were already, angry about something that had happened or whatever, if I'm smiling, friendly, a lot of times that could change the course of not only our conversation, our interaction, but it could make their stay better. Just something simple like that could really help. But now you kind of take that factor out and you got to get more creative somehow. And I think it was just an interesting observation. Also on the road, we rely on food services. You know, I'm not a huge fan of fast food, so when I usually get somewhere, I like to eat something. You know, I try to be healthy, but you know, I fail at that quite a bit. but I did eat in my first restaurant, had that experience with a customer, and we wore masks, we got to the table, you know, we did all the things, you know, all the procedures, and it wasn't too bad. It was a little weird at first, but once you get in there and you sit down, and the only difference is, you know, the server has a mask on, like I said, and going back to that front desk scenario, it is hard to see what kind of mood they're in or anything like that. And that was the one big downfall to masks that I kept seeing, is that like if you're in a service industry, it's really hard to, you're gonna have to really be aware of your body language and other attributes beyond a smile in order to give like a welcoming, happy feeling. Other than that though, I mean, it's been a pretty good trip. One more observation that I had was like, and maybe this is just my industry, so I don't know if it's industries as a whole, but it was almost like the smaller the company, the less precautions they would take. Larger the company, the more precautions they would take. And I'm guessing, again, I'm no expert, but I'm guessing that's because of liability issues. You know, if you're a bigger corporate brand or whatever, you're gonna have to take more steps because you have more employees, and there's just a lot more happening. Where if you're more a family-owned, smaller business, you're working with your relatives all day, you're probably just not gonna go above and beyond maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert at it, like I said. So just an observation, just something I noticed out there is like, smaller the company, the less precautions, larger the company, the more precautions. Speaking of food, I'm gonna grab some dinner. There's a restaurant downstairs, so I'm gonna grab something. I believe they have some nice salmon. It's one of my favorite go-to road meals is salmon and some broccoli. Haven't had that in quite a while, actually. That's really it though. I just want to check in and document, record some observations that I've been seeing. I've only been out here a day, so it's not like I've been out here a crazy amount of time. But it's interesting to be back on the road, like I said earlier, since I've been off the road since like March 10th. And for those of you that have watched my vlog in the past, I mean, you know how much I'm on the road usually. So it's been interesting working from home and being home all the time. It's kind of it's a welcome change, to be honest. I mean, I love traveling, but being able to do my job and be with my kids and see them and have all the interactions that I'd normally miss out on, that has been the silver lining, definitely, in this whole thing. But in the comments below, like I said, let me know what you're seeing out there. Let me know how it is where you're at. Let me know where you're at. I'm always curious to learn how other people are doing and what kind of precautions they're taking over, you know, I know some people are overseas, some people are in different parts of the country. Curious to how everybody's doing, hope everybody's doing well, and also what people are doing. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. There's an amazing sky out there right now though that I need to time lapse. The sun's going down, but there's also a storm rolling in, and the clouds just look really kind of eerie and cool. So I'm gonna leave you with that time lapse. Take care, everybody. I will be making more videos here very, very shortly. And yeah, I'll see you next time.